Fact check on illegal immigrants.
Commit more crime? Do they take jobs from native citizens? Is an undocumented immigrant a criminal by default? These are the types of questions we'll be answering right after today's sponsor. If you're trying to stay anonymous while browsing,
Rip past an army. I mean, there's a reason they don't want Germany to have an army anymore. It makes sense, man. After 2 tries,
is that if Surfshark doesn't meet your, get a full refund. So basically, we got sick of fact-checking in our regular news coverage, so this video is designed to free up space for some actual news. The conversation around immigrants within the United States tends to be filled with a lot of misunderstanding or half-truths, which is unfortunately a consequence of a pretty divided nation. So let's have a closer look into America's immigrant situation. First up, do illegal immigrants have access to welfare? A House Budget Committee estimated that the first 3 years of the Biden-Harris administration cost taxpayers $16 billion for illegal migrants using Medicaid once getting into the country. This is true, but it does need a bit of context. Generally, undocumented migrants are barred from accessing nearly all welfare programs within the United States. The major exception are migrants who are granted parole by the U.S. Customs and Immigration Service. This is a special status reserved for people found to require urgent admission into the United States.
No, it didn't. It did not. Bro, I see corpses getting cut apart in law school, in autopsies. No, didn't faze me. Only thing that ever fazed me was the smell of the corpse. Like when I did the autopsy. The smell is something that will stay with you for months. I remember that shit. But all the corpses I ever saw didn't faze me much.
For quote, urgent humanitarian reasons or
I remember I felt when I saw that guy with the head blown off, I was like, I remember what a fucking loser. I felt like, you fucking bitch, man. You shoot yourself and wait for God duty, so you have a gun. You traumatize all these people, like my friend, I forgot his name. I had this friend. You traumatize all these people, just because your life isn't fucking working, man. Like, what the fuck is it their fucking fault? I felt a bit like, man, sorry, bro. I didn't feel pity. I was like, what the fuck, man? Jesus.
Significant public benefit. Parolee stated.
And I think I remember, this might be a rumor though. I think there was a rumor that the brain on the wall had to be cleaned by the normal cleaning ladies. But I don't know if that's just a rumor. But I remember there was like a legend that the blood and stuff was cleaned by like cleaning ladies or something.
This is granted at the discretion of the United States Citizenship and Immigration Service, and often requires someone stateside to...
From what year was your personal weapon in the military? We had the G46. We had to sometimes share it with others. The G46 was weird, not the best gun ever, but very impressive, like Lego. You can literally teach... I can teach you in 10 minutes how to disassemble and work with a G46. Ultra simple weapon.
Vouch for
the tanks were insane. They gave us a show on the Leopard 2A2 or some shit. That tank was fucking mental. I will never forget how they put a glass of Zect alcohol on the rifle of the tank, and they drive over a hill and the glass doesn't fall down, man. That was impressive. The tanks were fucking technological insanity, man. That was pretty insane.
The process for being granted parole is rather extensive and requires that the applicant prove that there is not only some form of urgency in the granting of their parole, but also that they pass a criminal background check. You may have guessed this already, but the requirements to even apply for parole are specifically designed to filter out as many applicants as possible. Because of this, the Biden administration took it upon themselves to expand the parole system to allow for an unprecedented number of individuals to seek asylum within the United States. According to the government documents obtained by CBS in January of last year, over 1 million migrants were granted parole under the administration's policies. Many of these applicants were from countries undergoing significant political or military upheavals, such as Ukraine, Haiti, Venezuela, and Afghanistan. Jesus, how the fuck is Venezuela the best place to live on this list? For example, it's estimated that by the end of July 2024, over 520,000 Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans were granted parole according to the US Customs and Border Protection website. It's also worth noting that parole is one of the only ways that non-resident aliens can seek immediate entry into the US. However, by definition, parolees admitted into the United States under this program are also usually
so many facts, man. It's blowing my brain. I just want to have some TikTok Trump shit in my brain. This is like too hard. I have to like use my head here.
Considered inadmissible into the United States under typical rules. For example, if
But
a
eating
foreign
the cats
citizen
and
needed
dogs.
to gain entry into the US because they had to attend the funeral of a family member, they would only be eligible for parolee status if they had no passport, were ineligible for a green card, or otherwise blocked from any other means of entering the country. This is how the misconception that parolees are illegal immigrants came about in the first place. Because if they were capable of obtaining legal entry into the country through a typical port of entry, they wouldn't need to be given a parole status at all. A migrant
still
is
following?
only considered to be in the US illegally if they stay beyond the expiry date of their parole status. The highest estimates for how many total parolees are in the United States typically tap out at over 1 million, or roughly 8% of the estimated 11 million illegal immigrants in the country. So to bring it back to our original question of
Kinda only 11 million. You have 300 million people and 11 are illegal. No, was it 11? I already forgot. Did he say 11? I already forgot. Sorry.
11 million illegal
11 million.
immigrants in the country. So to bring it back to our original question of, do illegal immigrants have access to welfare?
The immigrant versus Trump situation is literally alien versus predator.
Yes, but this 8% of paroled migrants are only the ones who actually get access to it. For context, in 2024, Medicaid reported that over 71 million individuals were enrolled in the program. This means that even if every single eligible non-resident alien took full advantage of the system, this would still account for less than 1.4%.
Facts are boring, man. Let's get that view count lower a bit. This is boring shit, right?
The USCIS website lists the approximate waiting period for a potential migrant to receive their parolee status, which even after the Biden administration streamlined the process, still takes around 6 months.
Wow.
This means an applicant must prove that there is imminent threat to themselves in their country of origin, and survive that threat for 6 months before they even hear a yes or no on their application. Additionally, social benefits are withheld from parolees for up to 5 years once they are approved, and the parole status is typically granted for only 1 year. This means an applicant
isn't heading
would
as
have
I
to be
expected.
granted
It's
an
just a lot of
unusually long
facts,
parole term
which
in
our
order
brains
to
can't
even
handle anymore.
qualify for a welfare program. It also means that exactly 0 of Biden's parolee applicants are currently eligible for any social welfare programs until at least 2028. On top of this, migrants have been found to utilize these programs significantly less than natural-born citizens in the States. According to a study published by the Cato Institute, non-citizen immigrants in the United States consumed 54% less welfare than American citizens. Additionally, federal
Still, you could argue that, I mean, a conservative would say they should take 0, because they should be here.
income
But then again, they should be there.
When Americans say illegal aliens, because I think of the green guys from Mars.
Thank you, Dola. They should be there, because if you can prove, this is a very beautiful thing in the Western world, in democracy and constitutions, if you can prove that in your home country you're being hunted for some reason, man, then obviously you should get asylum.
tax is
What's glorp? I don't understand this. What is glorp?
required to be collected from
Glop,
all
glop.
working citizens, whether they're undocumented immigrants or not. Hilariously, this means that the damn aliens pay billions of dollars into Medicaid and Social Security, with the vast majority of them being completely unable to cash out of those systems upon retiring due to their legal status. Speaking of working citizens, this leads us up to our next question. Do migrants steal jobs from native citizens? This has been
I would say no, because migrants take low-tier jobs like cleaning or working at McDonald's, a job that the majority of natives doesn't even want anymore and doesn't apply for. I would say no.
point so widely talked about that it's famously got its own subplot on South Park. Legal immigrants do have the ability to specifically enter the country in order to take jobs that they are qualified for under the H-1B work visa program. These are specifically offered to potential workers with education in specific categories, such as STEM fields and higher education degrees. These can be incredibly desirable for tech and pharmaceutical companies looking for highly educated individuals from countries.
There's something I felt in my life now, something I just see in my everyday life. When I was young, McDonald's, the package person, the people at the train station, and most importantly, people selling fast food, like in the zoo, were all Germans. Nowadays, they're all brown people. That really changed. The package people, Amazon, in the zoo, all the people selling food, all brown people.
like China.
And I think this is because a lot of natives don't want these shitty jobs anymore. And yeah, probably also that these migrants are just cheaper, I guess.
Applications for H-1B
Food delivery,
visas are also
yeah.
incredibly limited, with a cap of 65,000 being approved per year, along with an additional 20,000 held in reserve for applicants which hold a bachelor's or master's degree. Because of the high education requirements, H-1B visas are typically only requested by companies looking for engineers and mathematicians who show exceptional skill or specialized knowledge. Average salaries for H-1B.
I was just in a theme park 3 weeks ago. I was in a big theme park on vacation. It's a massive theme park. And every single worker, or no, differently. Every single food place would have 6 people from Indochina and 1 old German woman to lead them. That's, I think every German knows this, right? It's like these girls with the hijab and stuff from Indochina. It's like, what can I do for you, sir? And in the back is always like an old German lady, like really fat, and she always takes care. Hey, Ping Ming, you have to clean the fryer. You gotta clean the fryer. And that's kind of what I see now a lot everywhere. And all these Indo-Chinese people, they're not immigrants. They come here to work for the summer and then go back home.
Range from 90,000 and 180,000 per year. By contrast, the average wage index published on the Social Security Administration's website lists the average American wage at only 66,000 as of 2023.
Gotta be Tommy when he retires from Twitch.
This does mean that there is one field in which immigrants are stealing jobs from the US citizens, which is tech. According to the Economic Policy Institute, the largest H-1B employers in 2022 hired 34,000 visa-sponsored workers, in a year that saw those same companies lay off 85,000 employees. As just one example, Amazon was the top employer for both layoffs and H-1B hires that year, replacing 27,150 employees with nearly 6,200 H-1B workers.
Wow. But that's just capitalism. They're just replacing, man.
Companies such as Google and
But they will have to say if Trump wants to bring back jobs, he has to like fuck with Amazon there.
Also hired record numbers of visa workers to such a
Interesting, huh? They're telling us we should all hate immigrants, but the biggest companies in the world really want the high level, the educated high level ones.
Enormous degree that at least 15% of Meta's workforce is comprised of immigrant workers.
Wow.
They actually listed themselves as a H-1B dependent in their corporate tax filings in 2022 because of the sheer enormity of their foreign labor workforce. H-1B visas are something of a diverse topic within the generally anti-immigrant Republican Party. In one corner, you have the Elon Musk tech wing, which argues that H-1B visas allow America to poach talent from other countries in order to stay competitive.
Which is a good thing. It's a good thing to be competitive and steal intellect from other countries. It's not dumb.
Other end of
it's like in Hoi 4 when you press that decision to get 5% research.
The party, you have the former
Italian
Trump White House
researchers.
chief strategist Steve Bannon. He argues that the H-1B visa program is just an excuse to replace American jobs with cheaper foreign workers, who are reliant on their positions to remain in the country. But let's look at the other end of the spectrum at low-skilled jobs. Alexander Arnon, the director of business tax and economic analysis.
The reason you see all these immigrants at the zoo is because they therefore don't pay a decent wage. Yeah, I fully agree with you. Yeah, 100%. 100%. This is why I sometimes believe it's a bit dumb to be so anti-immigrant, because once you kick all the immigrants out, yeah, no one works anymore. The cities are empty. No one is driving taxis anymore. Everything is, the whole nursery sector, everything is falling apart. No one is selling you food anymore at the zoo, man. These people are important, even to capitalism, for cheap labor.
At Penn Wharton budget model, Jesus Christ really needs a better name. Anyway, according to this economist nerd, quote, overall the consensus is very strong that there are not significant costs to US-born workers from immigration. Research does, however, indicate that native US citizens without a high school degree are the most likely to suffer a more competitive jobs market, as they largely share the same level of qualifications as a large share of immigrants. Michael Clemens, a professor at...
One sec. I like political streams. Thank you, Moist Pineapple Pizza. There's no religious freedom in Sweden. Why do we care about Sweden right now? The Islamic immigrants have taken over. You can't burn a Quran anymore without being murdered. You sound like a 12-year-old. I think we can quickly fact-check you that you're completely wrong.
George Mason University does, however, contend that both low-skilled migrants
why do we talk about Sweden right now? How fucking random is that?
Tend to complement each other, even if they have similar skill sets. After all, the jobs market isn't static, because although migrants occupy jobs, their spending habits also create jobs within the local economy. A
Moist
2020
pineapple
study
pizza makes me kind of
also
hungry.
found that migrants are 80% more likely to become entrepreneurs than native workers, which is why Apu from The Simpsons 2000s is canonically accurate. Research by Perry and Alessandro Caimi of the University of California also found that
typical German grazing black immigration. I'm gonna bite. I like this. I think this is content. Okay, let's do this. I'm with you. I'm with you. Let's do this. So we have a young individual in the chat. Let's take a look. Let's do this, man. Let's do this, man. You also followed 24 minutes ago. You've never viewed a stream before. Big fan of that. And we start with there is no religious freedom in Sweden. The Islamic immigrants have taken over. Here's what I like to do. I love this. Watch me go completely mental on this. So, someone in my chat said this. I fucking love that, man. So you're now gonna fight AI. Is this an intellectual thing to say, or could you state data and facts how this individual might be wrong? Okay, let's have some fun, man. Let's have some fun. I like when people are like this. No hate, man. I really enjoy that. This is kind of fun, man. Religious freedom is firmly protected under Swedish law, probably in the Constitution. The Constitution ensures the freedom of practice of one's religion alone in the company or of others. Sweden does not have any blasphemy laws, meaning it is not illegal to criticize, insult, or publicly burn religious texts. He probably means if you burn a Quran, some Muslim will kill you. I feel like if you burn a Quran right now in the streets, you're gonna probably walk home still. These protections are part of broader commitments of freedom of expression, blah, blah. We don't have to explain that, right? Okay. Is burning the Quran illegal in Sweden? Not inherently. While there is no explicit law banning this act, it can trigger legal consequences on certain conditions. Sweden has abolished blasphemy laws, so desecrating religious text isn't itself prosecuted. However, if the act targets a religious group, it may be considered hate speech. There have been preliminary charges in such cases. For example, individuals have been investigated under hate speech laws for acting like burning the Quran while making insulting remarks about Muslims. That's something you can discuss. You can be against that, but you're saying you're getting fucking stabbed for it, man, which is like a 12-year-old talking. One such case, Salwan Momika burned the Quran publicly and was charged with accusation against ethnic groups. Another case is the far-right activist Rasmus Paludan, convicted of hate speech. That's something you could talk about, but you're just talking like a 12-year-old. Have Islamic migrants taken over Sweden? No, this is an unfounded exaggeration. There is no credible evidence that Muslims dominate Sweden's institutions or suppress religious freedom. While it is true that anti-Muslim sentiments and Islamophobia exist, as they regrettably do in many countries, Sweden continues to uphold secular and pluralistic views. The judicial system has actively protected freedom of expression. Do you have some stats? How many people identify as Muslim in Sweden? What do you think is a takeover, chat? Above 10% is pretty crazy, right? That's like big. Above 10%. Because Sweden does not collect religious data. Ooh. 2016, 8.1%. It's a takeover. He's actually right. It's fucking over. Similar figures say around 8%, 800,000 people have appeared in non-official discussions, but it's not fully known. There's a significant difference between the official figure and border estimates. He's right. Okay, you're getting taken over. You're fucking done. You fully win, man. This individual wins the discussion. Damn. It's probably 10%. You're actually fucked. It's over. GG.
Generally leads to lower skilled native workers.
Yeah, Sweden has low population. These immigrants
who compete with lower skilled.
They fill the market with humans fast.
Migrants to earn higher
The West
wages
has actually fallen.
It was found that between 2000 to 2019, such occupational upgrading accounted for 1.7 to 2.6% wage increase for less educated native workers. It's actually so cold that academics hit us with the skill issue. There is, however, evidence to suggest that enormous waves of immigrants can indeed have short-term effects within the low
Good, you follow facts. Calm down a bit. We're having fun here, man. But don't act all tough now, man. You're talking like a 12-year-old child on the internet. Just following. Talk about people getting burned and Islam took over your country. You're an uneducated fool. Okay? We're having fun here, man. But calm down a little bit, boy. Also, you're gonna get permabanned. Why? Freedom of speech, right? 28 minutes ago, just to fucking instigate it. I actually shouldn't ban. I'm gonna show free speech. But, buddy, man, you're a fucking child talking like this. Don't act all tough in here, man. Come on. I often unfollow you on and forth. Okay, yeah, you sound like a bit like an unstable
job
child,
market.
man.
One such paper was published by Harvard economist George Boyas, who studied the effect of Mariel Boatlift.
His
a
content
mass
don't ban. Yeah,
immigration
I'm not
of
banning. I'm not banning.
125,000 Cuban refugees into South Florida in 1980. Boyas found that this flooding of the low-skilled job market reduced the wages of native high school dropouts by anywhere between 10 to 30%. It should be mentioned that Boyas's research into the effects of Mariel Boatlift have been
This is like
disputed by
too high
other
level, man.
academics. But
I think
even
many
if
people
we
are
can
losing
assume
connection
his
to this.
findings are solid,
It's too intelligent.
125,000 workers into one state's job market over a period of just 6 months is a pretty extreme example. So are immigrants stealing jobs from native workers? Ultimately, it depends on where you are and what you do. For the majority of US citizens, this will never be a concern. But for those in high-skilled tech jobs, getting replaced with someone from overseas becomes much more
You lost me at the
likely.
graphs.
High school dropouts are most likely to share the same job market with migrant workers. However, there's limited evidence that this affects job availability. There is evidence to suggest
It's much
that
more fun
migrant
when
workers
Trump talks
can
about
put
trans
downwards
people, yeah.
pressure on wages. However, this effect tends to be localized to specific regions and industries. Our third question is, what is the actual cost of illegal aliens entering the United States?
Next.
She slipped through my fingers like sand. Heard that she had a man. Now I'm just sitting here sad. Oh well, ship sail. She slipped through my fingers like sand.